Hi, my loves. Welcome back to the Starscartel channel. If you don't know, I am Star. And if you don't know already, we are getting messages from the series Blood Sisters, okay? And once again, I'm going to add this in every video, especially the ones that God is propelling me to. The enemy was trying to block these messages from coming through. While I was trying to watch this series last night, it just kept cutting off. And God started to show me what parts of the movie, what parts of the series He wanted me to talk about, okay? So this message is, keep your hands clean. You never know who's watching you, okay? In this series, the woman ends up in a position to where, okay, the groom that she was, the bride, okay, the groom she was supposed to marry is very abusive. There was a situation where her ex showed up uninvited and he beat her, okay? And after he beat her behind this, she went to her mother and her friend told her, you cannot go through with this wedding. I will not allow you to go through with this wedding, because if he is beating you now, you could not imagine, like, wait, it, like, when y'all actually are married and it's years in, and he, like, if he's showing you his true colors now, imagine what he gonna be like later, okay? So she decides to cut it off with him, and when she does this, he starts to choke her, and he's trying to take her out of here because he feels like she is embarrassing him, and when in reality he is embarrassing himself because he shouldn't have been treating her that way. Then she would have no reason to be there saying that she's going to leave him, okay? Anyways, her friend walks in, hits him in his head, and it takes him out instantly. And they are terrified of what to do. They decide to take his body out and put it in a car. But while they are doing this, there is a press reporter that is still in the midst of the hotel. They are still at the hotel, and they are watching them. They take pictures of them, and later they blackmail them, okay? The scripture comes from Song of Songs 8 and 5. Who is this coming up from the desert, leaning upon her lover? Under the apple tree I awakened you. It was there that your mother conceived you. It was there that your parent conceived. So here's the message. God loves you, okay? So to whoever this is for, that may be in a situation, you find yourself in a sticky situation, and this situation can cause you harm. In this situation, like she actually caused herself a lot of heartache and a lot of problems through what she did, and how she handled this entire situation. How she handled this entire situation, everything could have been avoided. However, just as God told David that he is not to touch Saul, okay? There are situations where you feel like you want to take somebody out of here. You can feel like you want to cause them harm. And even if it's a situation where you are a prophet and you hear from God, you are a child of God and you hear from God, and you hear God telling you the plans of someone that you love, and they have positioned themselves as an enemy to you. And it can make you very angry. It can make you very upset. So a lot of times when God says don't confront them, it is not only for it's not only just it's deeper than that. When God says vengeance belongs to him, vengeance is mine, it is deeper than just God is it's not just the thing where God is just trying to be controlling. It's not a thing where God is just trying to, because if that was the case, we wouldn't have free will. Let's be real. We would not have free will if God was trying to be so controlling. If God was just trying to force us to do this and force us to do that, we would not be able to make choices. In this situation, God spoke to her through her friend. And in this situation, due to the fact that of how he reacted, you know, it's just kind of like she could have avoided all of this. And there are situations where God is saying he wants you to keep your hands clean and he wants you to be careful because he loves you. Okay? Under the apple tree, I awakened you. It was there that your mother conceived you. It was there that your parent conceived. So God is saying that he knew you even when you were in the womb. And he cares for you. He loves you. He cherishes you. And because of these things, he would not want you to be in a position to where you are getting caught up because you are acting out upon your emotions. When someone does something to you, give it to God because God is the just judge. There are situations where if it's like what happened in this movie where she knows that she is being done wrong, she knows that she is being mistreated, she knows that she's being dealt a bad hand. And in this kind of situation, you just have to give it to God. Because in reality, there was just no easy way of her talking about it. Her trying to talk to his mother, she liable, you know, the mother did not like her, period, at all. At all. And this is a problem with a lot of mothers of boys. They are so connected to their sons that when any woman tries to come into their son's life, they feel as though that woman is trying to take their son away from them. Okay? And it is especially more so seen in single mothers than it is in mothers who are married and widows. I hear God saying than it is to women that are married. However, it's not supposed to be that way, because when a man finds a wife, he is supposed to leave his father and his mother and cling to his wife. The mother is not supposed to be all up in the business. The mother is not supposed to be inserting herself into her child's relationship to such an extent. And then on top of that, you know, sometimes in a lot of these cases, just like with this man, the mother was shielding him and he was not a victim of anything. He was the perpetrator. He was the bad guy. Like he was the bad guy in the scenario. And his mother is acting like, oh, well, she's just a gold digger and she's just this and she's just that. All the while, the son is just beating her and mistreating her, but she is just such this awful person, and she's really trying to do something so terrible. Oh, she's trying to take my son away. Oh, she's trying to take our money. Oh, she's trying to do this. Oh, I can't stand her because she is just, and all the while, the son is just a demon walking around. And the mama is just like, but my son, he's so perfect. He could do no wrong. The only wrong thing is he just picks the wrong women. The women ain't the problem. The son was the problem the whole time. Long story short, there is no way that she will be able to sit down with this woman and have a decent conversation and let her know your son is abusive and I am not marrying him. There is no way that you are going to be able to sit across from somebody that is abusive and aggressive and hateful, and in reality, he had this complex where it seems as though he hates women. And I'm just going to call a spade a spade. If a man is abusing every single woman that he gets involved with, 9 out of 10, he has issues, mother issues, first of all. And 9 out of 10, he has a strong hate for women. And 9 out of 10, if the mother is ignoring this behavior, she is the reason he acts that way. And I'm just going to call a spade a spade. I'm just going to say what it is. That's what it is. And God is saying in this situation, she, like, I truly feel like she should have just left. She really should have just left. She should have just left. She should have just left. And this is kind of connected to the next message. Okay? Because the next message is pay attention to red flags. The bride ignored her fiancé's abusive tendencies. She failed to ask about his prior relationships. And some women do this out of jealousy or envy. Okay, sometimes it's a situation where you feel like this guy is just so spectacular, he's so wonderful, and he's mine. And his exes, oh, they're gonna be so mad because I got him, because I won. And in some cases, you have to look around and realize that you racing by yourself. Okay, don't nobody else want him, sis, because he crazy. Okay, he abusive. Yeah, like yeah. They like no, they don't. No, they not trying to come in between your relationship, because the person you with is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And in reality, it's kind of like the exes that he had, all of them had to go into hiding. One of the girls had to walk around with an eye patch because he had I can't say that on here, but he did that to her. And then she was telling the story and said after he did it, he commanded her to sit there so he could sketch a picture of her in the midst of her pain, in the midst of her agony, in the midst of her embarrassment. He wanted to remember the moment that he did that to her. This is a sick and twisted individual, a demon. She failed to realize that not only did his mother hate her, she openly spoke bad about her. She openly talked down about her family. She openly would not acknowledge any of her son's wrongdoing. And all of these are red flags. Red flags. Red flags. Sometimes God be trying to throw the red flags at you. They knocking you upside the head. But you don't want to listen. Don't want to listen. Pride cometh before the fall. Pride cometh before the fall. Pride comes before the fall, okay? So this is two messages connected. Pay attention to red flags and keep your hands clean, because you don't know who's watching you. And in the midst of everything, God is watching. And God is just, okay? God knew that the only reason that man ended up in a predicament that he ended up in is because he was trying to take that woman out of there. But see, the thing about it is, the twisted thing, the cold-hearted thing is, had her friend not have walked in and helped her, she would have just been another victim, and it would have been swept under the rug. Her family would have been paid to mourn in quiet and threatened to mourn in peace and quiet and not to say anything. Hush, be quiet. This is the story that we gonna put out, and that's how it's gonna go. And people still do this today. People still do it today. People still do it today. And you know, thinking not strange, if somebody has billions of dollars that they will be able to pay off the press to lie about a story. Thinking not strange if something you know, it happens every day. It happens every day that something awful happens to somebody. But because the person that did it to them has a certain amount of money and influence, it's swept under the rug and it's covered up as if it never happened. God says sometimes you have to pay attention to the red flags that he is showing you. And if you pay attention to what he is showing you, you will be able to keep your hands clean. And that's just what it is. You know, that's just what it is. That's just what it is. If you would listen to the whisper of God, if you would pay attention to what God is trying to show you, this bride found herself in such a messed up predicament because she did not listen to the whispers. And you know, in reality, I'm not going to say that it was all her fault, because she was being pressured by her parents to go ahead and marry this man because he was rich. And the I think it's, what is it, the bride monies was so much, and they had all these plans, and they had this, and they gonna do that, and they gonna do that. And in reality, they were thinking about everybody but their daughter. They were concerned with themselves. And the love of money is the root of all evil. It's okay to live a normal life. It's okay to not have a big old mansion. It's okay to not have a big fancy car. Everything is still, the world will still turn and things will still keep going. Everything, nothing is going to stop just because you don't have this big fabulous lifestyle that is only going to be present here on earth, because you can't take none of it with you. And if you doing a lot of evil to get it, ain't no telling when you going to lose it. And that's the message. God says that you have to be careful. 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 You got to pay attention to red flags. Don't be in such a competitive, being so competitive. A lot of times, there are women, when women are interested in the same man, they can start to be competitive with each other. And sometimes the man will use that to their advantage. And in this situation right here, where this man seems, he looks like such a great catch. He looks like he got so much going on. He looks like he got this. He looks like that. But all in all, in reality, he was not. In reality, her life, had she married him, her life would have been filled with misery. She would have felt more like a prisoner than a wife. And that's just me being real. She would have felt more like his prisoner than his wife. And God says that this is not the intentions that he had for you. This is not the love that he has for. He wants somebody that is going to truly, he wants you to be with somebody that will truly love you. He wants you to be with somebody that genuinely cares about you. And a man that loves you would never do anything that will hurt you. A man that truly loves you would consider your feelings above everything else. A man that truly loves you would not try to make you out to be this, that, and the third. And that's what he was trying to make her out to be. Because when he was like, well, have you been talking to this man? And why is he showing up here? And what is going, and he had all these questions for her. And he abused her. After she told him, he called, but I did not answer. I have been ignoring him. No, I have not been talking to him. No, I did not invite him. And he just got upset with her because over something she could not control. You can't make nobody do nothing. And in reality, the man that showed up to the wedding, he was trying to help her because he already knew that the man she was marrying was a monster. That's the message, y'all. Okay? God said, listen to the red flags. Sometimes God will send you warnings and people that you would never imagine. And it will be up to you and your pride if you get the message. Because sometimes it'll come through a man's ex. Sometimes it'll come through your ex. Sometimes it can come through, it can come through people that you would never imagine. And it could be something so simple as them like coming to check on you and look you in your eyes and say, are you really okay? Blink if you need help, okay? Blink if you need help, okay? Like, it's just, sometimes yeah. Sometimes it could be something so slick as an ex saying, nah, I really don't want him. Nah, Sometimes it could be something so simple as, you don't know the real them. You don't know the real them. It could be something so simple as, I feel sorry for you. It could be something so simple. And that could be a warning or a red flag. God says pay attention to those red flags so that you don't end up in a position to where you are caught doing something wrong, trying to get out of that mess that you put yourself in because you weren't listening to God. And that's the message, okay? That's the message. And yeah, and this can go both ways, because what God is reminding me of now, there are situations and there are times when your anger can get out of control. And what do they call it? It's passion, I forgot what it's called, like a rise of passion type thing, where a couple is arguing and the arguing goes too far and it turns into a fight and somebody ends up gone. Okay. There are some fights that are just not worth having. There are some arguments and conversations that are not worth your time. In reality, you know, somebody can make it out to be, oh, well, you're not trying to make it work. Oh, well, you're not trying to do this. You're not, but what if I don't want to? What if I know that you're abusive? What if I know that you don't know how to keep your hands to yourself? What if I know that this is only the beginning? What if I know that this could not end well? And I just feel like God is saying, don't, it's just, there are situations where it's just simply not worth it. There are situations where you really just have to pay attention. And yeah, this is connected to the next message, y'all. Well, obviously, all of the messages today are connected to each other. But there are times where you really have to put your pride to the side and pay attention to what God is showing you. Put your pride to the side and pay attention to what God is trying to tell you. Because in this case right here, obviously the series starts with them getting married. But imagine if the series started with them dating and he has an ex that comes around and she has, you know, like the ex with the patch on her eye, even though she was not coming around him and she was trying to stay as far away from him as possible because of the way that he hurt her and the abuse she went through. Has she been trying to come around and, you know, he say, oh, she's just jealous of you because you're way more beautiful than her. And you see, you know, she went through some things and she's this and that. Like, you know, just trying to downplay that woman and downplay the testimony that she has. And downplay what she is a witness of. And downplay her in general. And, you know, it could put that spark in your ear to make you think, oh man, well, she's just jealous. She just want me to stay away from the prize. She just want me to stay away from this good man because I got me a good man. I got me a good man. This is a good man. And he gonna do this for me. And he gonna do that for me. And he is this and he is that. And I just love him so much. But so caught up in pride and arrogance that you won't be able to see the fact that the only reason she looked that way is because of him. So caught up in pride and arrogance to not be able to pay attention to the fact the only reason that she is behaving that way is because of him. So caught up, not even able to realize, like, you know, when you, like, I have been through certain things in my life that I easily pick up on stuff, okay? I easily pick up on everything going on around me. And not only do I pay attention to how people react to me, I pay attention to how people react to others around me. And it's not hard to tell if somebody is terrified of somebody. And even if that person is acting like they are an angel and they are sweet and they wouldn't hurt a fly, if there are people that are acting like they are terrified of them, they are scared of them for a reason. And I'm going to leave it at that. If there are people that are acting like, oh no, they scared for, it's a reason, it's a reason, it's a reason. And if they scared, you should be. And that's the message, okay? God says pay attention to red flags. Pay attention to red flags. And don't put yourself in a position to where you are getting blackmailed. Okay, that's the message. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe.